It appears the markets have turned wary in recent days as investors assess the impact on consumer and business demand from the Fed's message that it will keep borrowing costs high to fight inflation. So stocks fell on Friday, ending the week lower after the Federal Reserve signaled that interest rates will stay higher for longer. I'm not sure about you, but I think I've heard this before. Also on Friday, S&P Global said its flash US Composite PMI index came in at 50.1 in September, which is down slightly from 50.2 in August, indicating stagnating business activity. Here, I have an idea. Get government spending under control, get the national debt under control, and get government regulations under control. Nah, chaos is much better. Just watch the charts. Two charts today, beginning here with the 20-year monthly on the spiders, the SPY, and the close on Friday was 430.42. Now we've talked about this recently. As I indicated, we had this bottom and basing in here. We had the move on up, but the higher up we go, I think the more risk there is, at least up until this point, and unless there is a strong move up and above that previous high. But right now we're kind of waffling, so it's a cautionary flag, not a red flag yet, but cautionary. Keep your eye on that. All right, let's now go to the weekly chart. And this here is the 2-year weekly chart, again on the spiders. We have the channel lines set up already, the bottom channel line moving up through here, and the top channel line moving up through like this. Last time we spoke, we were looking for a drop in the market down to this lower channel line, which we're sitting on right now. It's possible it can go below that, such as here or even here, but I wouldn't want it to go too much lower. And this is pretty consistent here with the 50 EMA, so it's possible to come down to the 50 EMA and bounce off of that. And that's what we want, is a bottoming and basing in this area here. And we're going to see next week, probably pretty soon, what's going to happen. And hopefully we'll get a setup for a bottoming and basing, and then the move up probably late next week, the week after. But I'm not going to say that's the probability. Right now it's too hard to call. I want to see how this settles out here near that bottom channel line. But let's go to the oscillators and see what they show. First of all, volume's not going to tell you too much, but here the MAC's indicating that there's an acceleration on the downside with the fast line here, and then of course the slow line is going to follow more or less in time. But the fast line definitely turned down is going to perhaps maybe increase on the way down. We'll have to wait and see on that. So looking at the MAC, the probability is that the market's going to head down into the histogram, and you can see how steep this weak drop was at that point there. So from the high at that point, we've come down, not real fast, but at least in the last few days we have. So that momentum can continue into the price rate of change. Pretty much the same thing there, acceleration of the fast line on the downside, hitting that zero line. So if it starts to go below zero, it's going to weaken more and more. Same thing here with the RSI. We're at a moderate 41.05, but that sawtooth brought us down well below that 50. So we're somewhat equidistant below at that point there, not as low as here. So let's see where we go. But definitely all the way back here, that trend line moving on up has been broken. So there is definite weakness in the market. Into the stochastics, we're heading on down below that 50 or midline real fast. So that too is showing weakness. And that's going to be the same thing for the Williams. Here you can see we're at a negative 98.54, pretty negative. Not much further it can go down. We'll have perhaps a few sawtooths up and down here before we can climb out. So these oscillators are indicating weakness. back up here to the price chart, one last look. And so I would say this bottom channel line is going to be challenged most likely on the downside. So you stay on the sidelines with your money unless you're going short. And so for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.